Everything is better after a win. If you're wondering why it's me, Hal, hi here, and not Nick, let's just go to some live scenes of Nick right now. He'll be fine. He'll be back. Enjoy it, but enjoy it by being disciplined. We are going to look back on a truly great win, a truly controversial win. Certainly, there'll be Wolves fans watching this thinking that was never a penalty at the end. Do we care? Have we had our fair share of bad luck this season? Wolves have as well. I think it's fair to mention they have had as well, particularly penalties. Also, if you watched my match preview, and of course you did, you'll know that I said that in some way, shape or form, Fabio Silva would be the danger man. Well, for Wolves, he was, but we'll get to that. We'll go through it in stages. We'll go through it in order. I'm so happy. The whole weekend is going to be better. I'm delighted you're here to join me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about what you made of that game, and I will kind of just go through them as we go through. It's the first win in the Premier League, since Burnley, which I remember was a game where very few of us were allowed in. So it's been a long time coming and should have happened a lot earlier this season, but we've done it. And do you know what? It might be the start. We're on a roll, says Paul. We need to be on a roll to stay up. We also need to be on a roll to beat Derby's lowest points records. And it'll be great, won't it? It will be nice to watch again. Absolutely, June. You know what? It makes such a difference because I don't want to watch any other football when Sheffield United have lost. I don't want to watch Match of the Day. I do want to watch Match of the Day. And it's the feeling as well around the camp will be different for the players. It'll be a lot of talk, of course, that we know about the manager. And I think that it changes the whole narrative. And, Brighton, we don't know what's going to happen, of course, with that game. But just imagine we're talking after the Brighton game, picks up a point. Suddenly, that's a really, really good couple of matches. And we'll just see. We'll just see where this can take us. And I'm looking forward as well. My birthday, Bournemouth at home, going to be at that game. There was a part of me thinking, will that be our first win of the season? But no. What a roller coaster, says Ben. So if we start, as is time-honoured tradition, at the beginning, team news, what was the formation? And I say that for both sides because it was a question at the beginning of were we both going three at the back? Because Wolves often play three at the back, so does Sheffield United, but we had actually changed that. Then it looked like we might be playing a 4. It also looked at points like Wolves were playing a 4. Obviously, we know Wes was still in goal. There was never going to be any change there. But what about the rest of the team? So we looked at Baldock back in. The question was he playing right-sided centre-back or was he going to go right back, right wing-back? Bogle playing as well. It's not often those two actually play unless you have one of them playing out of position. Bogle at times looked like he was playing right midfield, at times looked like right wing back. Norwood captain, Brewster and Archer up top. And the referee, Robert Jones. I have mentioned this referee before, not always in the nicest possible way. He was really a frustrating referee when we had him for that Bournemouth away game. And I thought he was very frustrating for both sides. What did you make of his performance? He gave Wolves a few questionable soft free kicks at the start of this game. I remember one, Trusty, winning the ball from Kaladzic, but the kick was given to Wolves, but Trusty won the ball. And Hwang Hee-chan, I saw him dive and Hamer was pulled up for a foul. These were two early ones, and you thought, he's not got a grip on this game, and Wolves are just going to be able to dictate how it's going to play. Now, obviously, that didn't end up being the case, but this is, as I mentioned, the same ref that gave Bournemouth a controversial penalty when he last refereed Sheffield United's 2-1 away loss at Bournemouth on the 2nd of October 2021. He had actually booked quite a lot of Wolves players before. I think that might have been the Palace game where there was 4 bookings, 3 Wolves. So I don't think he's biased. I just think sometimes he saw some things that I didn't necessarily see. I certainly didn't agree with. On 33 minutes, Wolves had a great chance. This is where the whole game could have changed. Ait Nouri at the far. It sort of just hit him. I think if he wasn't a defender, that would have been very, very different. It was Hwang, who I thought was a very impressive player, sliced his shot in the box and it hit Nouri and went wide. But I tell you what, if Nouri had been alive to that, he just needs to poke out a foot and that could easily have been 1-0 Wolves. And I think the way the first half played out, Wolves would have capitalised and kicked on, because the first half I thought was Wolves. Wolves were seeing more of the ball, and United were doing their best to stop balls coming into the box. Yes, defending as well as possible, but all the possession was Wolves. Worth mentioning as well, both sides trying to play football in difficult conditions. Wet, windy, not conducive to beautiful, free-flowing football. Wolves seemingly, though, trying to play much more calm, possession-based football in our half, whilst United were, certainly in the first half, when we had the ball, much more frantic, not really keeping the ball. When Brewster had the ball played up to him, he didn't hold it up. But at 40 minutes, I wrote, here's my notes, majority of possession for Wolves. Wes, though, still no meaningful save to make. And that would be something I'd keep coming back to. Brewster was fouled, and I'll stand by this, fouled on 44 minutes, just before half-time, by number 24, Totti. The referee not interested in giving the foul, and then Rian injured himself. Looked like it because he went for it and he grabbed his left hamstring, possibly his ankle. And he did this by getting frustrated and challenging Totti, the same Wolves player, hard at the byline. And he went down for a while and the game was stopped. And McAtee would replace Rian. Now, Rian did walk off under his own steam, and later on, we'd see him running down the touchline in his own steam. So hopefully not too serious. But that was concerning. Concerning because I think certainly football fans of an older vintage will remember that Michael Owen, like the sniper, getting his hamstring, I think it was at Ellen Road, and he was never quite the same again. Now, he'd go on to have a really good career, but he was never quite the same with that burst of pace, which was his trademark, to get away from the last man. And I am concerned that Rian, is because he was out for so long, might be having something like that, because to injure yourself, to actually have to leave the game by shoulder barging someone, does not fill me with confidence that you are 100% fully fit and not made of paper. Trusty looked very good. I just want to mention this because I wrote at the end of my notes in the first half, Trusty, very good. Good passing, composed, excellent positioning, not always been the case. Now, I say that because Trusty's positioning has, in a couple of games that we've seen him before, been a little bit, certainly for me, a question mark, but not in this game. He was, even when there was an offside in the first half, he managed to get there and get his head in the way. I think it was Kuna who was offside, was going to get there first, but Trusty read it so well. And I'm not the only one thinking that, Tommy. Glad you are with me on that. Glad you're a player as well. Glad you're all with me. Isn't it great? Isn't everything brilliant? Second half, Archer on 47 had a good effort, which just wouldn't drop, but very nice effort. Then an error from the Wolves keeper, and United couldn't capitalise. But we saw early signs. United started the second half on the front foot with purpose, with intensity, with grit, resolve, endeavour, any other cliches you want to throw in there. Good cutting inside from that man, McAtee. I mentioned that he'd replaced Rian Brewster. He started brightly in the second half. And Dawson leaves out a leg, shows McAtee a bit of leg, and catches McAtee on 49. Dawson picked up a yellow. And by the way, that weather, not conducive to a good hair day for Dawson. A free kick just outside the area on the right-hand side. Hamer left it to McAtee, who shot just over. He was full of confidence, though, James McAtee, buoyed by these early moments. Bogle tripped just outside the area by Tommy Doyle. What did you make of Tommy Doyle's performance, Wolves fans, and more importantly, Blades fans, because we've seen a lot more of Tommy Doyle. We know what he is capable of, scorer of the goal of the season for United last season. But it was Bogle who was on a really good run on 58. I thought Bogle looked better in this game, and Doyle was booked for that trip. Free kick, though, completely wasted. Some superb tackling by Sheffield United in this game. Premier League players and refs don't want it. They don't want to see it, but it's good football and it should be encouraged. And then we had that strike, some strike. What a goal from Cameron Archer on 72 minutes, a thunderous one. The throw in from deep in our own half. It bounced through to McAtee, he flicked it. It then was more like a clearance that hit him, and Archer was played in somewhat fortuitously, certainly not a training ground move. But when he took the ball, he ran forward, brilliant strike after that run towards the rain-soaked goal. What a goal, needed from Cameron Archer, who hadn't been really involved that much before then. Paying 10% better if it hits the bar and then goes in. Just incredible. What a goal. Absolutely loved that. And I thought he really deserved that. Not for this, but for the amount of times that he's just been still willing to shout for the ball, and he hasn't hidden, even though Cameron Archer has found it tough since that Everton game. Obviously, I'd never wish injury on any player apart from Gareth Ainsworth. But Rhian Brewster going off and McAtee coming on changed this game. It changed this game in favour of Sheffield United. McAtee really wanted it today. Perhaps frustrated at being left out. Obviously, there's a scenario where Rhian has this kind of second half, and we'll never know. But I'd have loved to have seen Rhian and McAtee link up. It wasn't to be, and Rhian, I hope, is okay. Kuna claimed Robbo kicked him. So Kuna, the Wolves player, claimed that Jack Robinson kicked him in the box on 79 as the ball went out for a corner. VAR, as they always do with Sheffield United, took their time and probably tried, but decided in the end they couldn't find a foul. 81 minutes, Fabio Silva came on for Wolves. He would be influential. He also immediately fouled Baldock, an elbow and forearm leading into the back of the neck of George. A very cowardly challenge, no intention of winning the ball. I thought it was pathetic. Wolves fans would have wished he'd been sent off at that point. Dawson, VAR, handball check after great work in the area from who else? McAtee. That decision came to nothing. I will say, I've seen it a few times. It did hit Dawson on his arm, but nothing he could have done about that. So probably the right decision there. Wolves looked dangerous from a corner on 86. United managing to hack it away. But that late goal threat is always there this season against the Blades. And then we saw it. Goal on 89. Wolves, a deflected strike actually off Baldock. A turn, a good shot in the area. And Bellegarde had Wolves back in it. He'd looked pretty tasty. Hecky and Hamer booked for complaining. I noticed Hamer was limping before this, and Hecky had wanted to make the substitution. He wanted to make the change and get Ben Osborne on, but this was forced to happen after the goal. Hamer limping back to try and help his team defensively, and you do wonder if that substitution could have been made before the goal, which I believe Sheffield United tried to do, the outcome could have been different. Paul Heckingbottom, apoplectic with rage, as I say, getting that booking. We saw 6 minutes added on. It would end up being more. And yet another late goal conceded by the Blades at this point. 1-1. McAtee had a late effort blocked by Lamina. So we'd already had the shout of a penalty. Dawson. McAtee had a late effort blocked. Lamina, it was suggested, used his hand. Again, he did. VAR looked at it. It did hit Lamina's hand. Off his body, onto his hand. Not a great angle, not a great review. Whatever VAR we're looking at, it was the one angle repeatedly. And I think if it had been front on, it probably would have been given, but no penalty given. Then Fabio Silva in the 98th minute gave away a penalty on Baldock. Let's technically call this what it'll be described as, a kick on the foot. Was it a bit soft? Fabio Silva, I will say this, gets nothing of the ball. Baldock, though, it does appear is already going down. Who cares? Oliver Norwood stood over the ball after the penalty was given and won it. 100th minute by the time this was actually taken. A brilliant penalty to the top right. 4 keepers don't save that. And you know what we looked at the end? 2 shots on target for United, 2 goals. Who cares? Fabio Silva in tears, his career, which initially showed so much early promise, perhaps not going the way that he would have hoped. He was the crucial man. I called it. What did you make of this game? So let's go through some of the comments. Finally, 3 points. Hopefully it comes now we've broken that awful start. Sort your pronunciation out, mate. Baldock has become Bulldog on the text. Excellent. Don't know what that means. Gareth Ainsworth, yes, that's the history, June. Absolutely right. Yes, Champions League, here we come. Penalty, same as Norwood's foul for Arsenal penalty last week. Yes, absolutely. Norwood's penalty was like he was trying to pick someone out 60 yards away. I mean, that's the thing. Norwood actually had a shot in this game when he was trying to catch the keeper off his line, kind of Beckham-esque. But it was very, very bad. Well-deserved on that second half performance. I think that is the way to sum it up, isn't it? It really, really was a fantastic second half performance. And this brings me back to points that I'll probably make again tomorrow on Fans React. We're going to have a group of Blades. We're going to have a Wolves fan joining us. And we'll talk about the discussions that we haven't really wanted to have here at Sheffield United Way, but everyone else is having them. And when you do a fan channel, you've kind of got to reflect the mood of what people are talking about, what a cooler moment and all that. People are talking about Paul Heckingbottom being sacked. I've already made my thoughts pretty clear on that. I've repeatedly said, I don't think that should be done. Well, this win changes things. And also, what did he say at halftime? Because they're clearly still playing for him. And it really worked. I understand upset from Wolves fan about the pen, but that's the Premier League. Yes, we have seen them given for less, and usually against us. Ruben making a very good point there. I'm just going to go back through some comments that I will have missed a little bit earlier when I was yakking away. We're a Vauxhall Astra trying to compete at an F1 race. As long as we get everything, then we can't ask for more. James Moore. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it kind of depends. That's kind of an analogy. It depends who's driving the Vauxhall Astra. The Astra, no matter how much it gives, will never be as fast as a Formula One car. But I get exactly what they're saying. And yeah, as Sheffield United fans, that's all we ever ask for, isn't it? All we ever ask for. Yes, it was a foul on Brewster, absolutely. And I think that would have, obviously, let's say that foul had been given. Brewster then doesn't get injured. McAtee then doesn't get brought on. So many sliding doors moments in this game. And as I mentioned, 3 shouts for penalties against Wolves. Maybe it's right that one of them was eventually given. McAtee obviously has to start the next game, and there are games that certainly you'd look at them on paper and say, yeah, this isn't a match made for McAtee. I think more away games than home games, but we'll see. Yes, Archer looks like a confidence player. His play after the goal was so much improved. I think that's a lot you get with strikers. Absolutely. Matthew messaged me a little earlier today. Hope you're doing well. Matthew, really proud, as I am as well, of that second half performance. Tom saying just relief all round. Think Brewster could be done now. I really hope not. Let's hope, because they saw him legging it down the touchline to celebrate with his fellow players, that it's not as serious. We have to hope that. He also walked off as well. I said a draw. I said a draw as well. But you got the win. There you go. I will just take anything at this stage, even if it is a last-minute penalty. I think we're going to find goals hard to come by this season. So it's going to be things like, it's going to be set pieces. It's going to be mistakes from opposition. That is going to be where we get the majority of our goals from. When you've got the amount of injuries that we have, it's just going to be hard. But we'll get players back. Maybe not all of them. I think there certainly will be players we will not see again this season, and possibly players we won't ever see play for Sheffield United again that are currently out. Do hit the like button. Do subscribe and all that stuff I'm supposed to say. What a win. What a match. The season starts now. We go again. We don't let this slip. I've done all the cliches. I've had fun. Is another clip of Nick. Good. I'll be back for Fans React. Do join me for that. If you're watching this later than live, please pop your comments down below. I read every single one. Thank you very much for your company. We won a game, and I got to do the reaction.